Time for week 8 freshman flowers. Drew, this might as well just be a Florida themed segment. I mean, you had all the guys going off: DJ Lagway, Jaden Ball. I know you watch a lot of Florida football. Billy Napier all of a sudden steering the ship back around. Big win over Kentucky, 48-20 in Gainesville. Talk to me about this freshman running back, Jaden Ball, running all over the place.
Yeah, Coop, he's one of those guys where you kick yourself for not making him a 4-star prospect at the buzzer. Jaden Ball, we listed him as an athlete. Some schools liked him as a linebacker. Florida, Arkansas, others wanted him as a running back. Well, he goes out on Saturday night, gets his first start ever in the Swamp, runs for 5 touchdowns. That tied a Florida record for the most touchdowns in a game. Did it match Trey Burton and a guy named Tim Tebow? Jaden Ball named the 24/7 Sports True Freshman of the Week by Chris Hummer. Carried the ball 22 times for 106 yards in the 48-20 win over Kentucky. Pro Football Focus had him 50 yards after contact. Cooper, I think this guy is the running back of the future there in Gainesville. He was excellent all spring. He can run between the tackles, and he's got some burst when he gets to that second level. Great evaluation by Billy Napier, right? Everyone pokes fun at him for that army of staffers he has. Well, guess what? At the buzzer, they went and got Jaden Ball. That's a senior evaluation. Pays off in a big way for the Gators in a huge win over the Wildcats.
I'll tell you what, that's pretty good company to be in if you're a Florida Gator, especially if you're a freshman. You got Tim Tebow, Trey Burton, the other guy, Jaden Ball, 5 touchdowns on Saturday night. Great way to start his career. Drew, I'm going to go with DJ Lagway, a more familiar name, getting his second career start. 7 of 14 passing. That doesn't get you too excited. Only completed 50% of his passes. But the ones that he did complete, Drew, he went for 259 yards through the air. He added another 46 on the ground. He was our number 1 quarterback in 2024 for a reason, Drew. He looks ahead of schedule. I don't know what your takeaways are from this game, but some of the throws that he was making, especially in the deep part of the field, he had one where he layered one over 2 defenders. He's got it all, man, and I just love the poise that he plays with. He's going to have to clean up maybe some decision-making, especially in the short to intermediate part of the field, just learning the speed of the game, especially playing in the SEC. But Florida has their guy here. I think that's what we're excited about. Graham Mertz, unfortunately, goes down with an injury for the rest of the season. I'm really, really excited about the prospect of DJ Lagway, Drew, because if you look at Florida, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, yes, it's a gauntlet, but for DJ Lagway, Billy Napier, that's invaluable experience.
Yeah, and I think he can get them to a bowl game, right? You would assume they're going to be favored against Florida State rivalry game. Who knows? All they have to do is just jump up and upset someone. And Cooper, they almost beat Tennessee the week prior. You said it with DJ Lagway. He does look to be ahead of schedule. What was our player comp for him? What was on the 24/7 Sports profile? It was Anthony Richardson, former Florida Gator quarterback. That was a first-round pick. If you went and you watched Anthony Richardson's second start and you compared it to what DJ Lagway did in the Swamp against a Kentucky defense, which probably has 5 future NFL guys in that front 7, including Deion Walker, he looked to be in complete command. You said it, yes, there's some misfires here and there, but man, he is a guy that just has the intangibles. He can create and he can make big plays. He tossed one pass 50 yards through the air, Cooper. He was celebrating before the wide receiver even came down with it. I think if you're Billy Napier, you have to be fired up. This looks like the quarterback of the future, like we thought he was. Great performance from DJ Lagway. And there's a reason why we ranked him as high as we did.
All right, who you got next? This one was kind of interesting when you texted me on, I think, Saturday night. I hadn't heard this name. Who you got here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Duke true freshman defensive lineman Preston Watson. On Friday night, Duke took down Florida State for the first time. Preston Watson in the fourth quarter with a key fumble recovery for the Blue Devils. I watch his mother every night on the news, Fox 35 Orlando, Luann Terrell. Have to give her a shout out. Preston Watson, a guy, high 3-star prospect for us, but when he signed with Duke, Manny Diaz's staff came in, talking with some of the guys there in the buildings. They were fired up about this kid. He played 13 snaps, best run defense grade of the season for him, according to the folks at Pro Football Focus. So got to give a salute to Central Florida and Orlando. Preston Watson, certainly someone they're excited there at Duke, and he's going to be a key part of that program here moving forward.
Love the shout out of the local news reporter. That's what we're all about here. All right, Drew, speaking of shout outs, let's go with TJ Moore. We've been talking about this guy all season. We said the second half of the season, that's where we're going to see TJ Moore really break out for Clemson. He did a little bit of that, all right? 4 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown, and Clemson's 48-31 victory over UVA. Drew, they're starting to get him going along with guys like Brian Wesco. I'm excited about this kid. Have one of those TDs called back. I mean, he is a dynamic guy, I think, future number 1 receiver for Clemson. Garrett Riley, Cade Klubnik, Dabo Sweeney, the whole gang there. But what we've seen in the second part of the season so far from TJ Moore, Drew, I think gives us a little bit more and more confidence about putting that 5th star on him after the performance that he had at the All-American Bowl in San Antonio.
Yeah, Coop, I mean, it's the year of the wide receiver. Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. How about Nick Marsh over the weekend in Michigan State's upset of Iowa? 8 catches, 113 yards. He was another guy we were super high on. You're right with TJ Moore. I keep going back to those all-star games at the end of the last cycle. We saw all of these elite pass catchers in Orlando at the Under Armour game. We saw them all in San Antonio at the now Navy All-American Bowl. TJ Moore, a guy we fell in love with. So when the early returns from Dabo Sweeney were coming in about Brian Wesco, we said, just wait until TJ Moore gets his footing. We're seeing that now. Super fired up for his future there in Death Valley.
All right, a couple other guys we want to mention. C.J. Bailey, NC State, Drew, obviously starting in place for the injured Grayson McCall on the road at Cal. Threw for 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1-point win, and one that NC State Dave Doran needed. Caden Durham, Drew, seems like a guy that just is a regular here in the top freshman performers every week. Became the first LSU freshman to rush for more than 100 yards and scored 3 touchdowns against an SEC opponent in program history. I mean, you think about all the backs LSU has had coming out, Drew. You add a guy like Harlan Berry, the number 1 running back in 2025, to the fold. LSU, Brian Kelly, they got it going. Don't look now. But Drew, maybe quick takeaways on CJ Bailey. I know this was another guy, I hate to bring it up, we went back and forth on, do we put a 4-star on? Do we leave him as a high rated 3-star? What do you think here?
I think it's starting to click for him. Huge win on the road. NC State's got to go all the way across the country, eke it out 24-23. We said we liked him a lot. You know, the early returns coming out of Raleigh. Hey, this is a freak. This is a guy that we think could be the quarterback for us at some point down the line. I think it's starting to click. He's a guy who won a ton of games, not only in high school, but on the youth parks. That's a big one. Hey, Coop, one more freshman that we didn't have on there. How about Chris Cole, true freshman, 5-star linebacker for Georgia, played over 20 defensive snaps on the road at Texas. He's a guy that we thought it was going to take some time, but that is a very encouraging nugget that he got that much run.